Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. I want to thank you all for listening. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Well, tonight, our Pistons got thumped by the Golden State Warriors, 111-93. The Warriors came out smoking hot. They made like 12 of their first 14 threes. A whole bunch of different players did. And that doesn't include Steph Curry, who did not play, and Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins did not play. So three of their top players did not play, but the rest of their guys just came out on fire, and the Pistons looked not good. They struggled to shoot. They struggled to pass the ball. They made a bunch of turnovers. A lot of their passes were, inaccurate passes. So they would throw the passes. Sometimes it wasn't a turnover, but the guy had to bend down to reach to get it, or it was just off balance and the guys would fumble it. But it didn't look very good. But they did bounce back, and Cade and Ivey actually ended up shooting very efficiently by the end of the game. They really, especially Cade, got really hot, made 5 out of 6 shots in the third quarter. Cade finished with 19 points, or 18 points, excuse me, on 9 for 15 of shooting, but again, he was 5 for 6 in the second half. And Ivey was an incredible 7 for 10 from the floor and making 3 out of 5 threes, and he had 19 points and he only took 10 shots. So he's had a really efficient preseason. But we all know that preseason games are stuff that you got to take with a grain of salt. But there's been some positive things tonight. I would say was a little bit step backwards. A lot of our guys shot the three really bad, and we got Beasley and Hardaway to shoot, and Hardaway has just, I'm not a fan of Hardaway. If you've listened to the podcast, you know that. But tonight he was 0 for 4 and 0 for 3 on threes and 0 for 4 from the floor, and he's shooting like about 10% or less. I don't know. He hasn't hardly made a shot the whole preseason, and he's got to play. So that's a disappointment. And then Beasley, who I've been high on, he played 25 minutes tonight. He got to start. He was 1 for 8 and 0 for 5 on threes. And he, again, was shot like 43% last year on a high volume. He's been one of the best three-point shooters in the league for the last several years. And so I do have faith in him, and at least he gets after it on defense. But that was hard. Another big disappointment for me is Simone Fontecchio, and his role. I don't think his confidence is very high, and I don't think he's got. Tonight he only played 10 minutes, and I thought, I counted on him to be a real important, integral part of the team. And so it gets hard when you're a player. And I'm not saying, JB is doing a bad job at all. He doing what he thinks is right. He's doing basing on what he sees in practice. I don't get to see them practice. So, but Fontecchio did start some games earlier, so we'll see what's happening there. And then Paul Reed, everybody said, early in the training camp, that he was, playing great, and that was one player that everybody commented on, but he has got very little opportunity to play. So the Warriors site, they were playing Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis and DeAndre Melton and Pajitsky, and they just took it to us, and it was real bad at the end of the first quarter, and it was at halftime we were down by 20, but second half was more even, and then even when our starters were in the third, they outscored them, and then when our bench came in, things went downhill. The thing that stinks is I missed the game that they played against the Suns on Friday night, where Cade was on fire and almost had a triple double, and Tobias Harris could not miss a shot. And so tonight things weren't that great. I am a little bit concerned. I watched Tobias. Anybody that wants to, I think, can take him off the dribble. So I think, if he has to guard somebody that can take the ball fast to the rim, he's going to get blown by quite a bit. So big thing tonight, though, Jalen Duren. He was really playing tonight, and he had 3 blocks, but he contested a lot more shots. He was doing what we've been wanting him to do. He's been going after shots. He only played 23 minutes, 7 for 8 from the floor. Of course, again, most of his shots are dunks, but 9 rebounds. 9 rebounds is a lot in 23 minutes. And like I said, the 3 blocks, and he got a steal, 14 points on only 8 shots. So he was real effective and efficient. Beasley was, again, like I said, 25 minutes, 1 for 8, 0 for 5, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 points. Tobias, he didn't have a good game, 26 minutes. And he's coming back from COVID. A lot of times when you come back, you have that energy the first time and you play really efficient. And then I've seen it even with myself if I haven't played in a long time. And this was a long time ago, not recently, but sometimes I would be off for a while and I'd come back and I'd play really well. And then after that, it kind of would catch up with me before I got in shape if I started playing again quite a bit. But yeah, it was 0 for 3 on threes, 4 rebounds and 4 assists, which is really good. And he had 3 blocks. So that was impressive. So, but like I said, Ivey, 26 minutes, and he was 7 for 10 from the floor, 3 for 5 on threes, and 2 for 2 from the line. That's just like that one game he had. Just so to score 19 points on only 10 shots is real productive. Um, and he looked really good in the second half too. And he had 4 assists, but he did have 4 turnovers, which is not good. When you're getting 1 turnover for each assist, that's not good. So, but Cade played 24 minutes, 9 for 15, 0 for 1 from the 3. His shot looks flat. And again, I just hope that Fred Vincent can convince him to elevate his shot. They can track that. They track in the NBA, and they can track your arc. And there's even this machine that I used to get for my team. It's called Noah's Arc. So they track the arc of your shot. And back when I was coaching, they had it on a computer printout sheet, and they would, you'd shoot like 50 shots or 20 shots, and they would show a line where every shot, the arc of every shot went, and players could really see how inconsistent they were with their arc, and also they could see how low their arc was. But Hardaway played 14 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, and he doesn't move very good. So he's not good on defense. I saw him go after a loose ball, and I thought he was going to get it. The effort was there, but just the speed and quickness and agility is not there. So, and I don't know if these were the final stats, but still I got it down for 13 minutes and 2 for 4 shooting. So he didn't do a lot. Holland was impressive the game before, I think, but he played 19 minutes, was 1 for 2, didn't have many stats. Sasser was 9 minutes and 1 for 3. But anyway, the bottom line is our team is going to be inconsistent. And the bottom line is I hope that we can play out of our 82 games. I hope that we can have about 30 games we play well enough to win. And we're going to have good nights. And Cade's going to have great nights. And we're not going to play our bench. And hopefully we get a Sar back. That is a big concern. It was just puzzled me. Nobody made a big deal about it, and then last year, and everybody just assumed that he was going to be able to just come back and play normal. But yeah, I hope he does, and he certainly could still. So interesting thing though about how on fire teams get. So the Warriors, they finished 18 for 39 on threes, and so they started out 12 for 14. So they only made 6 out of their last 25 3-point shots. So that's, and the Pistons, they shot the 3 really poorly tonight. So that it's hard to win games in the NBA when the other team's making a lot of threes. Usually if one team's shooting, really good from 3, 30, high 30s, and the other team shoots in the low 30s, that the team that shoots in the high 30s, especially if they shoot a decent volume, is going to usually win the game. It's just the math. It adds up those points more. But Pistons percentage wasn't too bad, but they were 36 for 81. But out of that, Cade and Ivey were 16 for 25, which is really impressive. So the rest of the team was only 20 of 56. So yeah, you can look at the stats and take whatever you can out of it. But I just think that we are going to have to, I would be surprised if we do have enough good games. And obviously to have a decent record, we're going to have to win quite a few close ones. And I think that we possibly could. But again, tonight it was disappointing. I got so fired up when I heard how well they did against the Suns, and they blew them out. And then I get excited for tonight, get to see Tobias play with Cade and everything. And then they start out with the Warriors making all those threes. And we've had other teams do that in the preseason against us. So yeah, you can't take too much of the preseason. You want to look for things that you like and look for things that you don't like and try to make evaluations. Like I said, I think it's going to be real challenging for the rotation. But I love the way JB rotates in what he's done in the preseason, it completely makes sense. He's playing 8 players or whatever in the first half, the same guys, and then in the second half he starts them, and then partway through the third quarter he takes them out and lets the rest of the bench play and get them some experience and time to evaluate them. But the thing I liked best about tonight, the Pistons were down 97 to 76 with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. JB calls a timeout. He starts chewing on him, and he showed some fire. And then he called another timeout right after it. So 2 timeouts just to chew their butts off, to say it's not acceptable to not play hard. And Monty, he's just like I said, he's just like he never got excited about or mad or upset about the players' effort. He just always tried to be this Joe Cool guy, and I think that it doesn't do good if you're going to harp on players and yell. I do not believe in yelling at players. I do not believe in being negative all the time. But there's got to be a time when you think that was the first time this preseason I've seen JB do that. But I think that it's important that he did that. So anyway, I'm just going to do the short one tonight, and I had a long weekend. I was gone. I'm sorry I missed that last preseason game, but I hope that everybody's doing great. I hope that you are the reason that somebody feels cared for, and go Pistons.